Howdy and welcome to a lesson about cardiovascular and conditioning training. Now, what is cardiovascular training? Cardio is doing an endurance exercise with the purpose of sustaining an elevated heart rate. Just trying to get your heart rate up and keep it there. It's measured in beats per minute or BPM, and also your breathing rate's going to go higher. So I wear a chest strap to track my heart rate while I'm exercising, and I try to get it to a certain level and maintain it there. And then other times conditioning is more ramping it up higher. Sometimes you have it go up and down if you're doing intervals, or you just get it high and sustain it. You can also wear a Fitbit or other device on your wrist, but I find the chest strap, Morpheus is what I use, works best. So that's what I wear when I'm training cardio. So cardio trains the heart, lungs, blood vessels, which is the cardiovascular system, and it improves your body's ability to move blood and oxygen from your lungs and heart all the way through your blood vessels to all of the cells in your body. You know, as you work and spend more time, your blood is moving farther, you're using a lot of energy. It's going to improve the efficiency that your body can do that. Cardio also trains the body's energy utilization system, your metabolism, how well you use energy, your cellular and mitochondrial function. Mitochondria are the power sources in your cells, and they improve as you improve your cardiovascular endurance. And then your type 1 muscle fibers, which is your slow twitch endurance muscle fibers, compared to your type 2, which is what you use when you're lifting weights. So type 1, you may have heard of aerobic. This is aerobic exercise. It means it uses oxygen. So these are your endurance muscles. They're not your big, strong ones. Like these are type 2 muscle fibers. When you see a marathon runner who's little, he's got mostly type 1 muscle fibers. He's got a lot of endurance, not a lot of strength. So what is conditioning? Conditioning is basically just higher intensity cardiovascular training. It's going to be done in shorter durations and volumes than lower intensity cardio. So conditioning is going to burn calories at a faster rate, which is why a lot of people try to do it for fat loss. And that's around 20 calories per minute. It's going to change from person to person, but you're burning carbohydrates when you're doing conditioning rather than body fat. So it's a different energy source. And that changes when you switch from zone 2 to zone 3. So for me, that's around 145 to 150 beats per minute when my body starts switching over. And that's going to change from each person based on age and genetics and your level of conditioning or aerobic conditioning. But just keep in mind, higher intensity stuff, you're burning carbohydrates and your body's going to want to replenish those. So conditioning is stressful on the body. So it requires more recovery between sessions. So if you're going to do conditioning, ramp up slowly. So start lighter, go with short bouts, and increase it slowly over time, making sure you don't overtrain. You want to make sure you feel good after a workout. You don't want to feel like you've left everything out there and you're just like completely spent. You know, we're not training for a sport, and that's just too much, especially as you age. You want to do the right amount and then increase a little bit over time. You can't force it. Overtraining does not result in the type of adaptation we're looking for. The right amount of training and the right amount of recovery is the best strategy. So don't overdo it. The more intense the conditioning, so the higher the heart rate, the shorter the duration it can be sustained. For example, a sprint, 20 miles per hour. This is probably more like 40 to 60 seconds, but this is like a sprint. This is like a 400-meter dash. 15 miles an hour, a mile. Some people can sustain 50 miles an hour for 4 minutes. It's a 4-minute mile. And then 10 mile an hour, I mean, there's people out there that can probably sustain this for well over 4 hours. So you can see the duration that you can sustain it, it goes up a lot faster the lower your intensity level. So lower level, 5, 6, 7 miles per hour, that's zone 2 cardio. That's burning, more body fat. And then as you go up, you're burning more carbs. You can't sustain it for as long. So why is cardio important? And then how could it help with fat loss? So cardio is excellent for improving your recovery from workouts, improving your stress tolerance, your energy. It boosts your energy throughout the day, assuming you're not overdoing it. You're doing the right amount. It makes you feel better. It releases feel-good hormones. You'll feel good while you're doing it, after you did it, the day after. Again, as long as you're not overdoing it. And then obviously your overall health and longevity, health span and lifespan. And then there's a bunch of other benefits as well. Its effectiveness as a weight loss tool is marginal, and they do a lot of studies on this. It's people that try to increase their cardio and burn more calories to burn more body fat. They just don't have very good success. It's actually good for preventing weight gain, but not for weight loss, fat loss. So thus, if fat loss is your goal, don't overdo conditioning unless you're specifically trying to improve your endurance, which is what I'm doing. I'm trying to improve my blood pressure and improve my conditioning. So conditioning is not required to improve body composition or aesthetics. I've gotten my leanest, super shredded, doing zero cardio or conditioning training, just lifting weights and eating a low calorie, high protein diet and doing that for a long time. That's what it takes to improve body composition. Cardio can help if you do it correctly. So yes, cardio does burn more calories while you're doing it. But when the calorie burn is too extreme and you're in a calorie deficit, which most people are trying to do when losing body fat, the body responds in a way that's going to hurt fat loss goals in the long run. More stress, more hunger. You're going to eat more without realizing it. Less movement during the rest of the day. Your hormones aren't going to be optimized for burning fat and retaining muscle. You're going to lose muscle if you do too much cardio. Ironically, your body's going to favor fat storage and muscle loss, and that's the opposite of our goal. So if you look at a marathon runner or somebody who does a lot of cardio and conditioning, they're not muscular at all. They lose a lot of their type 2 fibers. They have a lot of type 1 fibers, which are very lean. And a lot of times they'll store fat because that fat is going to help them do cardio. For the average person, the easiest and most effective way to increase overall calorie burn and fat loss through cardio is focus on NEAT and LISS, which are the lower intensity. We'll talk about that in a little bit when we talk about modalities. There's almost no limit into doing these very low intensity stuff. It's just staying active and walking more. If you're willing and able to do more cardio, increase zone 1 and zone 2 volumes. So these are like low, medium intensity. These are great for fat loss since they use body fat. They're still using body fat as a primary fuel source rather than burning your fast burning carbs. And they're not too stressful on the body if done recovery. These are actually very helpful for recovery purposes. So you're burning like the maximum rate of body fat possible. Again, don't overdo it. Do the right amount, increase over time. How should I incorporate cardio? In Fit and Prime, we recommend separating strength training from cardiovascular training and from mobility training. Those are the 3 types of trainings we focus on. There's going to be some overlap naturally between them, but really you want to segment them out and focus on each one separately. Many programs like CrossFit, F45, Orange Theory, they combine strength and cardio in sometimes the same movements or the same workouts. They switch back and forth between like running and doing like lifts. I don't recommend that. I get it. A lot of people enjoy this style of training. They can make great progress with it. It's fun to do it with other people and compete, but you're never going to reach your full potential in either cardio or strength or aesthetics until you separate the 2 training modalities. I get CrossFitters coming to me all the time. Oh, I train so hard and I do so much. Why don't I look like you? Because you're not training for aesthetics. You're training to be good at CrossFit. You would kick my butt in CrossFit, but you can't have the best of both worlds. It's really hard. You got to have some good genetics and probably be young to look really good and also be really good at a sport like CrossFit. When I played football and I was training for football, I didn't have very good aesthetics because I was training to be good at football. You're not going to train for both. Strength training should focus on muscular failure. You should not fail because your cardio system can't keep up. The heart rate will naturally elevate when you're strength training, but that should never impact your ability to push to muscular failure. You should never be breathing so hard that that's stopping you from going all the way to muscular failure. If it is, you're either doing too many reps in your sets, like you're doing 30, 40 reps. No, keep it under 15, keep it under 20 at the most, really. Or you're not resting enough between sets. So take your time. Sometimes it takes 2, 3, 4+ minutes between sets. If I'm doing heavy squats or deadlifts or cleans, I might take 10 minutes in between sets because it takes a long time to recover. And it's not just your breathing, it's your muscles as well. Again, that's strength training. We're talking cardio here. Conversely, cardio should not be limited by muscular failure. You don't want your legs to be so sore and weak that they can't get your heart rate up. That will happen when you start with conditioning, but over time, your legs will get better at it. You'll get more type 1 muscle fibers, and then your cardio system will be the limiter, where breathing and your heart rate become the thing that prevent you from going harder. So let's look at some cardio exercises. And this is personal preference, really. So this is like a menu. Choose what you want to do and switch it up. You have a lot of choice, a lot of flexibility. Use a variety of cardio exercises, even in a single training session. This reduces the risk of overuse injuries. Worst injuries I've gotten, broken feet, too much running, too much pounding and jumping in football, not giving myself enough recovery time. So over time, it's a repetitive use injury. So I prevent that because I don't jog. I don't jog too much. I jog a little bit and then I do other stuff. So for example, what I often do is in a single cardio workout, I'll cycle, then switch to the rower, then jog, and then decrease the miles per hour and increase the incline and walk for a while. I'll turn around and walk backwards and go even slower on an incline. And each of these I'll do for 10, 20 minutes. And that'll be like a 60-minute workout. So you can do any combination of those, but that's what I do. And it works really well for me, where my heart rate stays elevated. I'm going quickly from one piece of equipment to the other. This allows you to train a greater variety of muscle groups, prevents excessive fatigue in any body part, limits the risk of repetitive movement injury. You may find a passion for a particular activity: cycling, swimming, basketball. I used to play a ton of beach volleyball when I lived in California, like every weekend, sometimes multiple times during the week. And you may find those and do those the most, and that's perfectly fine. It's still smart, if you can, to practice activities that train your weak points on occasion. They don't have to be your main thing, but it's still good to focus on your weak spots. And just so you don't want to have any weak spots. You can, and the older we get, me and my brother personally, the more we use low impact cardio exercise. I used to love jump roping, but it's just too much pounding on my ankles, knees, low back. And those are prone to repetitive impact injury, especially over time. Instead, we choose to swim, walk, or jog, often on an incline. It's lower impact. Use the bike, use the rower, use the ski erg. And here's a list of all the, this is just a snippet of everything you could do. When my foot was broken, I did a lot of upper arm bike. Rowing, I'm getting back into it. It feels great to be using my back again. I have a ski erg at my house. I'm using it more for cardio. I use the speed bag. It's not necessarily a cardio tool, but it gets my heart rate up. But I've hit the big bag, the big punching bag at the gym. Ellipticals are very low impact. A lot of people like them because you have upper and lower body. Stair climber, low impact. Jump rope, higher impact on your knees, but still a great workout if you can do them. You could do jumping. Kettlebell swings is kind of combining strength and cardio. And then you can do any sort of interval training, circuit training, boot camps. You can find these online. You can just dance, put some music on and dance. Doing yoga will get your heart rate up. Again, there's so many things you can choose. Find the ones that work for you and, try them all. So cardio workouts. Again, if you're looking for workouts that you can follow along, don't have to think, visit YouTube, go to Fitbit. There's tons of them on there, thousands. At the end of the day, find something that you enjoy doing or dislike the least. Let's be honest. You're not going to like, a lot of times when you first start it, you're not going to like it. Just give it some time, stick with it. You'll start to like it as you get better at it. Your body's going to adapt pretty quickly and you're going to start liking it. And like, as you track your progress and get better and better and better, then it becomes a game. You're trying to beat your last record. Find something that gets your heart rate up that to your target heart rate without being too exhausting or too hard on your muscles. Doesn't injure you. This is a big one. This is why I don't jog. I limit how much I jog so I don't get foot injuries again. And then it makes you feel great. If something's causing pain somewhere, then the next few days, then don't do it. These should make you feel great. These should energize you. You should always feel better after doing a workout. And I've noticed as I've increased my cardio, I have more energy throughout the day. I feel better. I have less soreness from my strength workouts. It just feel great overall. And they take time. It's not my best activity by any means, but I'm benefiting from doing these. Now let's talk about different cardio and conditioning modalities and recommendations. So here's this sheet that you can download. So let's download it and take a look at that. First, let's jump back and look at what is said here. Refer to the attached PDF, view recommendations, how to incorporate the different cardio modalities into your training program. Like anything, start with lower intensity, which is zone 2 or less, and at low volumes, increase the volume slowly over time. So build a base on the low intensity volume, low intensity stuff. And then eventually, once a few months of building this base at low intensity, you start to add higher, conditioning, higher intensity stuff at low volumes, and then do a little bit more over time. If you ever feel super tired or sore after workout, then you did too much. You should feel energized after your workouts, both right after and the days after. During the workout, it may feel hard, but afterwards, you should feel pretty good. If you don't, you overdid it, which is fine. Just dial it back maybe the next time and then work back up over time. Zone 1 and Zone 2 cardio can be performed before strength training workouts as long as it's not fatiguing. I may do a 50-minute Zone 2 before a workout, but if you're new to this, 15 to 20 minutes may be your limit. If you're doing a long Zone 2 workout, it's probably best to do it after your strength workout. A lot of times will do it afterwards. It kind of depends. But If you're doing conditioning, high intensity interval training, or VO2 max training, these are all higher intensity stuff. Do them either one on non-lifting days. So separate, have lifting days, conditioning days on separate days. So, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, maybe lifts, and then Tuesday, Thursday, maybe conditioning. You can do them on the same day. Try to separate them by several hours if you can. Do one in the morning, one in the afternoon or evening. If you're going to do them together, which is common, this is what honestly usually what I do your conditioning after lifting if strength is your priority, which it probably is for most people. So this is least favorable because it's better to separate them, but often it's the only feasible option. And then if conditioning is your priority, which it is for me, do it first and then lift after. So that means your body's going to be most fresh for the first thing. It's going to be able to go harder and more intense and get more of an adaptation for that training than the one that comes later. Just like during a workout when you're lifting, whatever exercise is first is going to be probably your best. So that's like if you're trying to focus on growing your calves, it's smart to start with a calf exercise rather than doing it at the end. This pin has all about zone 2 cardio and conditioning. So these videos are fantastic. Just 30-minute. This guy's brilliant. This guy, what's his name? Dr. Joel Jamieson. He is the creator of the Morpheus training app that I use, the training strap and the app. So he really dives into zone 2, and he's really an expert in this stuff. So it's worth learning about zone 2 because it's a very important piece of cardio. And then let's go back to the different modalities. Again, on the left here is their name, and they're increasing intensity as you go up. So NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This is just normal everyday movements. So you're not exercising. You're just you're up off the couch doing something. So you're eating, standing, walking, fidgeting, standing. I already said standing, but intentionally walk and move more. So this is how you do it. Your heart rate's going to stay under 90 beats per minute. Just try to be more active and taking the stairs, parking at the back of parking lots. Set an alarm on your phone so you don't sit more than an hour at a time. Get a standing desk like I do at work, which is great for both back pain, energy, and burning a little extra calories. Low intensity steady state cardio. This is a step up from NEAT. This is like light exercise that's not really going to cause sweating. This is going to improve your daily energy and digestion. So again, just staying active, a little more active. This could be casual walks after meals. Walking after meals are huge. Just playing with your kids, doing yard work, putting the dishes away, shooting basketballs, playing catch, doing light stretches. Again, your heart rate's you're not going to be sweating or anything, but you're getting your heart rate up a little bit. Zone 1 cardio you're starting to get into an elevated form of low intensity steady state. So this is like, it takes a little bit of effort, and it's great for recovery. It's great for boosting your calorie burn, and you could do 100 to 400 plus minutes per week. And you could track, I used to track this on my Fitbit. I don't wear the Fitbit anymore, but it was around 105 to 125 beats per minute for me. This is going to change from person to person, but it's anything that's steady state from the exercise list we looked at before. For me, I know it's a walk between 3.5 to 4.5 miles an hour, but it could be a hike, an uphill walk, just dancing. And again, Fitbit or any other device is great for tracking it. Zone 2 cardio, this is where you're starting to put in some effort. Middle intensity steady state cardio, MISS. And this is the maximum body fat burning. All of these are going to be helpful for burning body fat. This is the max rate of body fat burning because your body's going to switch to burning carbs once you go up to zone 3. But this takes a little bit of effort, and I track my heart rate when I'm doing the exercise to make sure I'm staying in this. And currently I'm shooting for 150 minutes per week. So I try to do 3 50-minute zone 2 workouts per week. I aim to keep my heart rate around 135 beats per minute. And again, this is steady state. You don't want it to be going up and down. You want to kind of keep it in one range between 135 to 140 beats per minute. For me, it's a light jog. I may start at 6.5 miles an hour and then slowly bring it down to about 6 miles an hour. And you can use Fitbit to track this, but Morpheus is better. It's more accurate. It's just going to give you better data, better feedback. But again, I switch between the light jog. I'll go on an incline walk. I'll do the rower. I'll do the air bike. I'll do the ski erg. So there's a lot of different things you can do but you just want to kind of keep it steady state. And that's why I kind of look at my heart rate while doing that. Zone 3 conditioning, now you're getting into higher intensity stuff. You're not going to be able to do these as long. It's great for improving heart health, blood pressure, overall conditioning. 20 to 60 plus minutes weekly, depending on your ability level. But this is getting 145, 165 beats per minute. And again, usually this can be steady state. For me, this is a faster jog, around 7 miles per hour. And again, Morpheus will track this. It's got a zone where it specifically tracks this conditioning. And then high intensity interval training, that's where you're going short bursts of like all out sprints. So your heart rate is kind of doing that, going up really fast, and then you want it to come down very fast, and then go up really fast. So your heart rate may fluctuate between 125, 180 beats per minute, anything from the exercise list. This could be an all out sprint for 15 seconds with rest, being 15, 30, 45, 60 seconds. Just depends on what you're doing. There's a lot of different ways you can do this, but the goal is like you go hard for 10, 20 minutes, you do a bunch of like sprints, and then you're done, and that's why it's become popular, because people say, you only have to do 20-minute workouts. Well, zone 2 cardio gives you different adaptations and benefits than these higher intensity ones. So you kind of need to do both to get the benefits of both. VO2 max training is training to maximize your body's oxygen consumption capability. So it's like intervals, but longer periods, like 3 to 8 minutes of activity. And, this optimizes peak cardiovascular endurance. I do 1 to 2 a week now, but these are hard. These are not fun. And I usually jog and try to shoot for like 8.5 miles an hour for 4 minutes and then 3 minutes off. And I do that 4 times. And man, the first 2 to 3 minutes are okay. And then that last minute's hard, especially in that last interval. I want to be done after 2 minutes. So the last 2 minutes are a real grind. But those workouts are they're pretty rough. And you want to give yourself plenty of recovery after those types of workouts. But that is it. Sorry for the long video. That's all I've got on cardio and conditioning.